Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry for the technical delay here. So this will be our first module. This isn't perfect either, but we're still getting everything figured out. My computer went out. Welcome back, and here we go. So this is Theater Appreciation Fall 2024. Our first module here is What is Theater? Many of you maybe have gone to the theater or you know what a theater is. You've been in movie theater, but in this context, we're obviously talking about the art of theater, the medium of theater. So we're going to just do some basics on that. What is theater? Well, the word theater can refer to a physical place and a dramatic art form. So the thing is, there is a theater that you go to see theater. The dramatic art form of theater is a medium different than television, than film, than painting, but you also see theater in a theater. In architecture, theater is a structure where theatrical works and performing arts are presented. The theater building serves to define the performance and audience spaces. If you trace it back to its Greek origins, it means seeing place. The Greeks were the first to really put a theater space together. Before that, since the beginning of time, people have been telling stories about their hunts around campfires, telling stories of great battles, great feats. And then the Greeks were the first to kind of start to write that stuff down and put it into a theater for people to see, organized, I guess you might say, which is where we go to first. The first theaters were outside. They didn't build structures like we do now. This is the very first theater in Greece. It's the Theater of Dionysus, which is the god of, well, that's a question for you to answer. Dionysus. So here we have the first theater. It's outdoor. You can see the structure of it, made by stone. See all the seats, different acoustics than what we have now in indoor theaters where everything is really controlled. This is outdoor, so the seats had to come down like that so everybody could hear where the actors were on that checkered part in the half circle down there. It's in Athens, Greece, 6th century BC. BC was when it was built. It's the very first, known as the very first theater. It was outside. You can see all the different statues there, the columns, the playing space, the people. Named in honor of the Greek deity of wine and theater, or the god of Dionysus. We have outdoor theaters that still exist today. One of the most famous ones in the world is the Globe Theatre in London. It's Shakespeare's theater, Shakespeare's Globe. This is what it looks like today. You see it's outside, it's a circle. It's a round theater with the stage playing space having 2 levels to it, a lot of doors, a ceiling for some of it. That's what it looked like back in the day, or a drawing of it. Shakespeare's Theatre was originally built in 1599 in Southwark, London, which is on the south side of the River Thames, built by William Shakespeare's acting troupe, and destroyed by fire originally in 1613. They had thatched roofs, if you can see the top of it there. It's made of twigs, it's thatch, and very easy to catch fire. Was it done on purpose? We don't know. Globe Theatre rebuilt in 1997 at the foot of the Thames River. If you've been to London, one of the things that most people go to, you can see that the roof is thatched there. They have more fire safeguards than they used to, but the structure is reminiscent of that style, the Tudor style of theater. In New York City, we have the Delacorte Theater outdoor. This is where they do Shakespeare in the Park, which I've done twice. It's an amazing theater they're remodeling right now, but it has 2,000 seats in it. As you can see the people there. It has a stage, changes every year. Below that is a huge deck where you can do different mechanical things. People walk back and forth underneath the stage. You can see the castle behind it. It's called Belvedere Castle. It's outside in the middle of Central Park. It's a beautiful place to be. There you can see it. Built in 1962 by Joseph Papp and the Public Theater, which we'll get back to in a second. The Public Theater. You can see the pond behind it, the seats. It's outdoor. It's a New York tradition. We have one here in Houston, or down in Houston, the Miller Outdoor Theater. It was built in 1923. Maybe you've seen shows there. They do Houston Shakespeare Festival. It's 2 shows they do in rep every summer. They have a lot of concerts and things even going on right now as we speak. Then we go to indoor theater. The Teatro Olimpico Vicenza was the first indoor theater. You can see it's very classical style. It's very similar to the Theater of Dionysus, just has a roof to it. All the different statues, perspective is a little bit different through the doors. It was made in Vicenza, Italy. regarded as the first indoor theater. There's a beautiful shot of it right there. It's perspective in the middle there. It doesn't go all the way back. It's just painted that way. These are Broadway theater. This is where the show Harry Potter is in New York City. Broadway is the most famous theater in maybe the world, but certainly in the U.S. There are over 20 Broadway theaters, Broadway houses in New York City, in Midtown there, and this is one of them, the Lyric Theater. You can see the outside of it. They decorated it and made it very kind of fancy with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. If you've seen it, great. If you haven't, go see it. This is another style of theater, indoor theater. We have regional theaters. This is Capitol Rep in Albany, New York, a place I've done many shows. You can see it's indoor. Then we have a theater here in Houston called the Alley Theater. The Alley Theater is a thrust stage. We'll get to that later, where there's seats on 3 sides, but it's indoor. It's a regional theater in downtown Houston. That's the outside of it. And then the big thing right now for this part of the module, part 1, is running theater spaces. All these spaces and theaters have people running them all the time. The artistic director and then the team. This is the public theater that exists in a building in the East Village in New York City. They own this outdoor theater, the Delacorte that we saw earlier, and they run that space. And if you watch the video that looks like this, below this group of slides, you'll have some questions to answer.